let's get the headphones set up. Let's get this. Where'd my drink go? Can't start a stream without a drink. That's no good. That's no good. There we go. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Rookzer0. It is the live stream. Nebby, welcome. MF Dragon, running over after. Freddy Farmer, welcome, 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 welcome. Let me pop this chat out, move this over here. It is Wednesday. It is the free draw. I think I'm going to start doing the... It's not the free draw. I'm sorry. It's the viewer suggestion today. People can suggest their D&D characters. You get one per person. Please, simple characters so I can get them quick and done. Probably do about 5-10 minutes sketch. Corvus, welcome. David, welcome. Burning, welcome, welcome. Everybody's here today. That's great. I'm going to start off with a rugby sketch. There's a link for the Patreon members in the Discord if you'd like to come draw with us today. Oh, hold on a second. I screwed up some stuff here. Taito, welcome, welcome. I believe I'm going to start doing the... I've been streaming a lot on Twitch lately. I think I'm going to start doing the viewer suggestion every Wednesday as a live stream on YouTube. I think that's a fun kind of alternative to not streaming at all on YouTube. And that will keep me, yeah, kind of bouncing back and forth and give me some cool ideas. So let me get this turned back on. We are also doing the thing today that I can't seem to find. There we go. Okay, let's move that up. We're back to push-ups, baby. Here we go. Can't hang out long. I'm off to my second dose of COVID vaccine. Just wanted to say hi. Best of luck with that. I hope you don't have any feel crummies later, because that can tend to happen with the second shot. Yeah, so best of luck with that. I hope that goes well. We'll be around here for a little while today. Let's see, I got a Gargoyle Paladin. That sounds pretty cool. Gargoyle Paladin. And I'm going to draw rugby just to warm up real quick. Love your work, good stuff, 100%. Thank you very much, Freddie. Frederick, yes. Cool, okay. But yeah, so this is something we haven't done in a little while. I am now not running all over the place, since I'm doing this full time, and because of that, I need to work out. So to get the workout going, oh, Starfinder picks again. Let me explain this real quick, and then I will pick my number. Have to go to work, no problem, Bernie. I have down here, anytime I get tips today, I'm gonna do some push-ups. Anytime I draw a skull, I'm gonna do some push-ups. And anytime I draw on the wrong layer, I will do some push-ups. So those are my plans today. Try to keep me honest with those. Let's go ahead. I'm going to roll it. You know what? I don't care. I'm not going to pick anymore. I'm going to roll a die. Let's roll a die. That's the thing I can do. Again, mod here. Yes, exactly. You have no power here, Sierra. 7. 7 is my Starfinder number today. Let me get in the Discord chat so I can actually hang out with people. That'd probably be smart. Boop, boop. Boop, boop. There we go. Oh, I'm not. My headphones aren't plugged in today. There we go. I was wondering why it's so quiet. Welcome. Let me get back to... No one, yeah, no one can gamble here. That's the real reason I'm on YouTube today, because I'm just going to get rid of the gambling. All right, let's warm up with a good rugby. Ooh, I got a red pen today. That's interesting. How's everyone doing? Hope people are doing all right. Gamble all. If you guys want to do some random gambling, you know, go to Twitch. There's some channel points that mean absolutely nothing and are not worth anything that you can gamble on my channel. I wish there was a way to redeem those. Like, I would love to be able to, like, convert them to channel points or something. That would be kind of interesting. Maybe I can set up a command to do that. We could, no, I guess not. Yeah, this... Can I? Okay, I'll have to look into that. I can hear you. Can you not hear me? Hello? Hello? Uh-oh. Test, test, test. There we go. Thank you, Xbox controllers, for stealing my microphone. That's what I get for trying to play games. I hope people can hear me now. I hope people in the YouTube chat can still hear me. Good. That's embarrassing. Yeah, there's no cat pictures on YouTube. I could set something up, I guess, but I don't have channel points, so I'd have to convince people to pay real money for cat pictures, which that's a slippery slope right there. Oh my goodness, that is a weird space cat monster demon. What program are you using to draw? I am using Aggie.io. It is a browser-based web application so that you can draw with multiple people. Up here, there's a link, and I put that link in the Patreon chat on Discord so that any of the Patreon members can come draw with me when we do our live streams. So that's up for anybody there. On Fridays, I tend to do a free draw where I just invite everybody to come draw with me, and Aggie does a really good job of letting that happen. So I'm using that. Usually I use Photoshop for a lot of my other artwork for the videos, and any commissions I do, I use Photoshop, but this works pretty good. Let's see what we got going on here. What are you playing? What am I playing? I play a lot of Pathfinder, a lot of D&D. I had a D&D game tonight, but it got postponed until next week. So I'll be playing another one tomorrow morning. And then this weekend, I'm going to play Pathfinder for the first time in a long while. And that's going to be great. See, you've got the Ixtengi. Ixtengi? Yeah, okay. Oh, a slightly weird lizard-looking dude. Kind of like how they made Rango look in the movie. Sending pics. Oh, is that his eyes? It looked like I thought that was like giant cat ears. Yep, those are eyes. Okay, giant chameleon people. I can do that. We can draw some chameleon people. We can do that. But yeah, why is this offset? Oh, that's weird. Something is very strange with everything I'm doing right now. You know how it is. You know how this works. Yep, rugby animation, great. Got my drawing stuff. Good. All right, we're good. We're good. We're happy. We're rocking and rolling. Let's get this rugby done so we can start drawing a gargoyle. That sounds pretty awesome. Gargoyles are pretty cool. I need to do why you should play a gargoyle video. That would be awesome. You can only play. Do they have player stats for gargoyles or just monster stats? Pathfinder does. In gargoyles. I do like gargoyles. Gargoyles are pretty dope. I remember when I was younger and I got my first camera, which I swear might have been a disposable camera, but I just remember being like, I have a camera. I went around just taking pictures of like every gargoyle statue I could find. I don't know why. They looked cool. It was a fun thing to photograph. So that was super fun. I knew some people that had like lots of garden statues and stuff. And I was Catholic, so there were like churches and everyone had stuff. Minotaur Cywar and a Bugbear Druid. All right. Bugbear. Bugbear Druid. Minotaur. Psychic Warrior. Is a Psychic Warrior a new subclass, or is that actually like a full thing that I haven't read about yet? It's a subclass. Gotcha. Okay. They're just slightly wrong chameleons. They have liquid crystals beneath glass-like scales. Ooh. So they can change the color and they move their eyes independently. Yeah, all right, makes sense. Is Paler's Taint the new thing? I don't think so. Paler's Taint is pretty good though. As a D&D swear. What's the other one? I had a really good one that I used all the time, and I can't remember what it was now. It was not Saren Ray's titties. I promise you that. That was a very on the cuff thing. It had something to do with undead, so I'm not sure it was. I'll have to think about it. Gargoyles are a super monstrous race. They have a ton of RP points, and they are super scary, and most people will not let you play them, and that's totally fine. But the downside to it is that they can only be alive for half the day, so, you know, I'm okay with that trade-off. Do you guys want to take a long rest here? Well, too bad. Your friend is made out of stone now. What? The goblins carry you away. No. I second bad Sierra. This is my new favorite swear. I'm going to try to use it to replace oh my god. That's pretty good. Psst, Rook, for my birthday, could I please get a Bard Sierra? Do you want that as the suggestion, or should we draw that on your birthday? Because we could do that. Bard Sierra. A bad Sierra. What would entail a bad Sierra? Just like a leather jacket. What's the Ninja Sex Party thing? Watch me shoot cocaine into my eyes and rock a burglary. Is that what I need to draw Sierra doing? That's such a good video. First date, I think, is it? Is that the Ninja Sex Party? Yeah. I did. I already watched it. I knew that. It was great. It's a ballad, though, and I'm not a big ballad fan. Like, for the same reason I'm not a musical fan, I think I'm not a ballad fan. It was still good. It was still a really good video. I'll probably watch it 5 more times today. But in comparison to, like, I think the Mermaid video is also kind of a ballad, and I think what's the last one that came out with the dragon and the unicorn? That's also a ballad. Right, like I liked those better. Actually, you're right. I completely negated that was not the song. Like, they played the video as a ballad, which is cool. So that is a bad example. That was a bad example. 6969 is also a ballad of sorts. Yeah. Draw whenever you want. I just really like a Bard Sierra in Rook style to make good choices. To make sure I make a choice. All right, let's get this gargoyle started. Gargoyles are going to be interesting. I haven't drawn a gargoyle in a while. Let's see. I'm going to make it really blocky. Maybe we'll do some sharp face shapes up here. Big old jaw. Paladin, huh? That sounds pretty dope, actually. Something I always thought that was kind of interesting is for gargoyles specifically, is like if you give a gargoyle a magical weapon, does the magical weapon turn to stone? Does it have to make a will save or be turned to stone? Would be pretty funny if, like, a gargoyle turned to stone and then just got robbed every night. Like, dang it. Can't have nice things. Puts all of his stuff in a bag. And the bag turns to stone. That's a good one, too. I think that's fine. You know, I think that is a good question. Do gargoyles turn to stone during the day if they're in a cave? Like, are they just like soft trolls? Do they just Or do they, is it a timed thing? Like, these are all the important questions we have to ask. I should be giving him a helmet, I think. I think I need to give him a helmet. But I like the horns, so I might keep horns. Bahamut's ballsack is another good one. Yep. I might not have. What did you post in general chat this morning? Well, black. Yep. Just really gross yourself out by eating a slug. I used to go pick blackberries with my family, and one sideways. What's this? If Gargoyle's wearing an unconscious person in the way a fancy lady wears a fox fur, does the unconscious person get turned into stone? No, because an unconscious person is still technically a living creature. A dead person, on the other hand, technically an object, would get turned into stone. Yep. Anyways, my blackberry story. I had one of my cousins. I watched one of my cousins bite a beetle in half because it was living in the blackberries, and I couldn't eat blackberries for a while. I love blackberries, and I still eat them now. But yeah, fresh blackberries and beetles, not great. No. People just bail. Oh no, they taste terrible. They taste real terrible. It's not cooked, especially. So. It's gonna be like a Judge Dredd. Judge Dredd. Gargoyle Paladin. Yep. Let's do it. I might have to go take a quick break here for a second. Let me get this sketched out here so I have a good base, and then I'll be right back. Gargoyle wings like have to be curvy, I feel. Like they just have to be encompassing. I think it's yeah, it's more terrifying that way. Let's see if we can get some cool shapes here. I don't know if I like this either. This is a great prompt, by the way. So sorry for everybody that's getting pushed back because I'm doing this a few times. Got to run before I go. Can I suggest if I can get a Ratfolk Pirate? Yeah, Ratfolk Pirate. Ratfolk Pirate. I think I'm going to do something to the effect of like I think the gargoyle thing is that they're kind of hunched. So let's change the pose a little bit so that we're doing something like this. Kind of look at some of these things you guys posted in the chat. I still want to do the helmet. I think the helmet would be a cool idea, but maybe not. Maybe we just have the cool horns. I want to make sure I don't go tiefling. Like it's got to stay super jaggedy and stony. Blair. But yeah, that's a good point. Even if you're a paladin, like, gargoyles should very much be monstrous. Like, they should be terrifying and kind of weird. Should definitely not feel, you know, super humanoid. They should feel weird. Get like a big old spiked shoulder pad here. Chaotic evil elementals, interesting. Alright. Well, that's not what I expected, but sure. I guess they are kind of like stone. You could consider them stone elementals, I suppose. Oh, wow, that one's super, super weird. I like that a lot. Mm-hmm. That's from 4th edition. Alright, that makes sense. Just like weird, stony, creepy things. Okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna have the helmet wrap around. Give a very pointy nose. Underwater gargoyles? Well, sure. I mean, like, if a temple sinks, the gargoyles don't drown. What should we make next? Well, we have a gargoyle. Let's just slap an aquatic template on it. Oh, yeah. Oh, the templates were great. The templates were beautiful for randomly customizing shit. What's that? You'd like your creature to be made out of fire? Well, there's a template for that. Oh, you'd like your dragon to be dead? Great, here's a skeleton template. Slap it on the dragon. What, you'd like it to be a bloody skeleton? Oh, there's a different template for that. Now it regenerates. I really like where this is going, but I hate it. We're gonna start over again. I really should have warmed up a little more, I think. I should have drawn more rugby. It could also be that I'm just drawing with red, and that's not my bag of tea. Yep. Not my bag of tea. Let's get some shapes in here. Oh, hold on a second. Sorry, that was an artificial intelligence notification bot giving me messages about something, and then I hung up, so I don't know what it was. Dear everybody, if you're designing a program to call a whole bunch of people, don't start with things like, "Hi, I'm an artificial intelligence robot." Yeah. just don't do it. Yep. I'm off my game today. Maybe I'll have to come back to this gargoyle. Because I might have to draw a few more rugbies. What I want from this gargoyle is like a really, really pointy face. Like, I almost want it like this. I might have to start off very sketchy and then move up. Like, I almost want giant stone Batman is what I want. I mean, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what's happening here. My hand's not doing what I want it to do. Everything turns out kind of fuzzy. Goliath was a pretty good character. You know, I do not know. I do not know if the Gargoyles had a comic. it definitely had a story that feels like it wasn't written for TV. Like there was a long con, which was pretty rare for that age. Chris, here's a tip. What's your opinion in the new? If you're making a system to call a bunch of people, don't. Yeah, exactly. What's your opinion in new mages of Strixhaven? The mages in Strixhaven, I think it's fine. I think it's an interesting way to do it. Basically, what they're doing is they're reintroducing the prestige classes. Yeah, but they're doing it in maybe a better way, to be totally honest, because the prestige classes were you have to basically have these requirements, and that could be like ability to teleport somehow, or affinity for fire magic, or something to that effect. And they're moving it to the subclasses, and I think that's interesting, instead of it just being that you start taking levels in something else. So that could be really cool. It could be really cool. I'm excited. Now, am I excited that it's Strixhaven? No, I don't give a shit about that. But I do like the Strix from Magic the Gathering. I like the Owl folk. It should be, yeah. I saw some of the artwork for it, and there were quite a few Owl folk Strix just like hanging about. So, if anything, it might be just an Aarakocra variant, which would be kind of cool. I'd be down for that. But the lore is there. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of weird. Like, that's weird for Disney to just pick up. Was it a Disney show? It had to have been, right? They just randomly picked up gargoyles. Like, that seems very strange to me. This is much better. It was dark. It was pretty dark for what it was. I mean, yeah. Didn't they they got stuck into the future, right? Something like that. It's a very, very Disney thing to do. I call it shaking the snow globe. And I hate it as a trope. And it basically happens when like writers get so ballsy about the storyline that things get too weird, and they just have to do like a time jump, or they have to reset something. Eureka was really bad about it, and I really liked Eureka because it was just a serialized kind of like funny X-Files. Like, here's weird shit that's happening. That and Warehouse 13 were great, but Eureka just kept shaking the snow globe every season, and it was like, God, I have to learn new characters every season. Like, I don't care. So I stopped watching it. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of those big time jumps. Fairy Tail did it too. It's like, we beat all the best mages in the land. Whoops, 20-year time jump. It's like, okay. Yeah, that's fun. That's interesting. I do like that. Yep. And like, especially when creatures like, I like those kind of episodes. Like whenever superheroes kind of do like a time travel arc, that's fine. I like that stuff. But when it like fundamentally shifts the show because they're just like, we're bored of this area, let's move. It's like, or you could just write the story better. like write yourself not into a corner with your writing. Oh yeah, I have never gone back. I've never gone back, and I think it was Loki's fault, which once again didn't make any sense in context. That all of a sudden it was just like, oh, by the way. No, I don't know. Yep, I'm excited. I think Loki Vision or whatever the hell it's called comes out today. I really liked WandaVision. I thought that was really good. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the Loki's thing. Plus, I like Loki. We need more hummingbird Aarakocra. Yeah, exactly. I completely agree with that, Nebby. I completely agree with that. I think it'd be really fun to play a small or tiny Aarakocra that is a hummingbird. How would horns come out of a helmet? That's the real question. Maybe they wouldn't have a helmet. You could do a banded male helmet. Warehouse 13 is so good. Wait, what is Sanctuary? See, I liked Warehouse 13, and then I discovered that Eureka was in the same universe, and I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I'll watch that. And then I was like, oh, this isn't good. Okay, cool. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, have I watched Stargate HD? You shut up. Gotcha. Okay. I fucking love Stargate. Stargate's amazing. Interesting. Okay, cool. No problem, sir. That's awesome. That sounds kind of cool. I might check that out. But it meanders, apparently. Oh, okay. I understand now. Gotcha. There's a... What was it? I was really excited. It's the Sam and Dean problem, right? Like, the first few seasons of Supernatural, like, start really strong, and then they just kind of, like, forget what the plot of their own show was. Okay, I need to make this a paladin, and then I'm going to call it. But I think I'm going to keep it this bust. So I'm going to give him some sweet armor and some wings. But yeah, so like that happened with Supernatural, and then it also happened with Grimm. Grimm was another cool idea, because they're like, oh, you're the family of this group of people that just hunts monsters. That's crazy. And you're like, yes, okay, I'm down. And then, like, halfway through the season, they're like, also witches, but also you like witches, and also now demon baby. And it's like, okay, pump the brakes. Like, what the hell? I just want to see people fight werewolves. That's all I want. What's going on here? What if the helmet turns into some ornament metals that wrap up the horns? I like that idea. Okay, let's do World of Warcraft shoulders, because why not? We'll imply the wings. And then let's actually design a helmet. Like, that's what we're going to do for this one. We're going to design a really cool helmet. I think that's going to do it. That's pretty dope. That's a pretty dope helmet. How would you guys feel if I changed the YouTube channel to a mask making, helmet making channel? Instead of why you should play, it's just like how you should wear this helmet, because it's dope. That way I can be on camera and never show my face. It'd be great. Yeah. If I had a foundry, oh man, I would just be in there all the time banging on metal. That's what I did in college. I just stayed in the sculpture lab and built shit. Glasswork's pretty fun. I've not done a lot of it. And by a lot of it, I mean very, very little. I've seen many people do it. Yeah, brazing and that kind of like, well, that's not welding. It's brazing, and there's another term for it. Soldering. Brazing and soldering for glass is weird. It's a weird process. You basically have to be very comfortable with the metal and the solder you're using and know when and how to temper it. So it's basically one of those things that's like, hey, you're going to fail a bunch. And it's like, oh, okay. But then once you figure it out, it's pretty great. Okay. Yeah, soldering the lead down. Yeah. I guess, yeah, maybe it's not soldering. Maybe it's not soldering because you're using lead, which is not actually fusing to the metal. It's just holding it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep. That might be what it is. The solder is holding the metal, the tape. That would make sense. It's been a while since I've done that stuff. Just lead, you know. I think this horn... No, that looks good. I think we might stop there. I'm going to put some rock texture on this guy, and then we're going to move on to the next one. I feel like I could spend a whole day doing this. now that I'm into it. Next one. Yeah, the weird space chameleon. So that's the next one. You can just start a new series. Yeah, I think I might. Mushrooms? Question mark? You want me to draw mushrooms? Is that what you... I mean, I can draw some myconids. I like drawing myconids. Yep, mushroom leshies are another good one. Yeah, I'm gonna start something with it. I definitely, because I bought this stuff to start doing some clay sculpting, and I want to make my mask, and I want to make some figures, and I might even like mold pour them, and then give those to like the Patreon members. Just ship out some resin figures. That'd be really cool. But yeah, I like making masks. That was something I did a lot, using a bunch of different materials. I've carved them out of wood, made them out of epoxy, and made them out of what is it? I've made a lot of stuff. Doesn't really matter. Point being, I like doing it. I'd like to get into that again. So I might check some of that stuff out. I don't know if I'll make videos or make live streams about it, but we'll get there eventually. Yeah, those are pretty good leshies. I like those. So creepy. Okay, I like that one. We're going to move on. Weird chameleon face. All right, here we go. This guy's going to be super tall. Super tall. Yeah. Just like, we're going to get real weird here. The eyeballs are going to be like that. He's going to be like, Is he one of the new Pokemon? How would you describe this Pokemon? Lanky space lizard. Alright. I need some new clothes, I think. I've drawn the same clothes for a lot of gunslingers. I'm a big fan of the trench coat kind of thing, but... Poncho. Just give him a space poncho. Alright, we'll give him a space poncho. Voltron? Yes. Oh shit. Yes. It was Thundercats, but they were all eagles. It's yeah, I mean, I can draw the costume, right? Cuz they had those weird like half glass visors that were kind of like eagle beaks. And then they had the like, hold on a second, let me bust this out. And then they had the weird little capes. They had the weird little bird capes. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, feel free to chime in. But yeah, Corvus, I don't remember what the hell the name of this anime/cartoon was, but I know that they had weird beak helmets that were glass, so you could see their faces. Silverhawks? Maybe. Check it out. Someone Google that, and by that I mean Corvus, Google that and see if that's what you were thinking about. And if you got that from my visual and auditory description, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. I'd feel very good. Burb? That sounds right. Everything you're talking about doesn't sound like one show. It sounds like there are many shows. There was some Gundam-esque show that was on Sunday mornings, and I always had to go to church, and it made me mad because I wanted to watch it. And I never figured out what it was, but it was like Gundam, but also plants. That's the only way I can describe it. So, Gundam, but also plants. And this was like 1,000 years ago, so like before anime was made. Space Hawks are. Wait, Space Hawks or Silverhawk? What's it called? Okay, I was like, what the fuck is Space Hawks? I am also Space Person. Other Space Person. Let's get rid of that. I don't do fan art. Get out of here. I should do fan art. Maybe Free Draw Friday will just become Fan Art Friday. And we'll just draw fan art. Macros? Oh my god, that might be it. Hold on. Helvin, you might have the anime knowledge I've been looking for. Oh my god, I think that's it. Maybe not. Maybe not. No, that's not it. But that looks cool. I like that. It doesn't matter. Nick with plants and old. It could be. It could totally be that. Complete. It came out as Robotech. Okay, yeah. So Robotech was not what I was thinking about, but like I said, it doesn't really matter in the end of the day. I kind of want to give this dude like more eyes. I feel like he just doesn't quite have enough eyes. Captain Planet, that's a thing. The Disguise, that sounds familiar too. Oh, was that what you were talking about? That's not what I was talking about, was it? That doesn't look right. Okay. Maybe they remade it. I'm gonna spend all day just looking for different old animes. Gotcha. I was thinking of Gotcha Man? Is that right? Yeah, I was thinking of Gotcha Man. Copy image. This is what I thought you were talking about. it's basically Thundercats, but birds. Basically, they have like a bird rocket. It's really weird. Let's draw this stupid lizard. Let's get this lizard drawn. Yeah. Corvus is just over here. I'm like, remember that thing? Hey, nostalgia. Remember thing? That's true. Every now and again, I will have a moment of like, man, I really remember that Nintendo game, and then you go looking for it, and you're like, maybe this didn't exist. Maybe I completely made this up. Yeah, the Mandela, is it Mandela or Mandela effect? I think it was Mandela. It's named after the guy because everyone thought he died. Yeah. I have a lot of issues with that, like people remembering things wrong. It's like, yeah, remembering things wrong is totally, your brains are not that good. like brains are fine. But like, I think a really good example of that is, what was it? Final Cut? Is that what it was called? It was a Robin Williams horror movie, which was not super great, but it had some interesting concepts of memory, because they were basically record your entire life and then people would make videos of it after you died. And so like something people would argue about would be like, oh, hey, that boat, why'd you change the color of that boat? And it's like, that's the color of the boat. They're like, no, that was a blue boat. It's like, no, you're remembering it wrong. Like, it was recorded that way. You are remembering it wrong. And it's like, that's a weird thing, because I've had those arguments like with my sisters. It's like, you say, oh yeah, remember that? Like, no, that's not how that was. And it's like, well, one of us obviously was wrong, or it was two things. So, yeah. 1 hour photo? That might have been 1 hour photo. No, 1 hour photo. Did Robin Williams do two weird movies about stalking a family? I think 1 hour photo was the horror movie, and Final Cut was maybe that wasn't Robin Williams. I'll have to think about that. Yeah. It was like stalking a family. The other one, the one I'm thinking about is somebody, maybe it wasn't Robin Williams, made movies of people's lives, and then somebody basically like, someone saw something they weren't supposed to see, and so they were trying to get this guy to basically not see the video, or maybe trying to get information out of the dead guy. It doesn't matter. 1 hour photo was Disney. I don't think that was a Disney movie. Who knows? I wanted to go. That's not a current Disney movie is the problem. Song of the South was a very yes, is a Disney movie. Is not Disney's current, yeah. It's not Disney's flagship movie anymore. Right? Oh. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not defending that movie or Disney, because Disney's huge. They don't need my help. My point being is, I really doubt they are very, like, and the people who run it now aren't like, yeah, that was a great movie. It's like, no, they probably know. They know what's up. They know they fucked up. They're like, really? It's like finding something your grandfather owned that you're like, oh, no. We'll just throw that away. No one needs to know about that. Let's release that on Blu-ray. It's like, or we could just not. We could just not release it on Blu-ray. A little bit. You can see that. What kind of fingers do these things have? I kind of didn't pay attention. Creepy salad finger hands. They just have generic people hands. That's lazy. They did all this work for the face, and then they just made normal lazy hands. Actually, this looks way cooler. Yeah, okay, I like that. I'm gonna change the face here because I like the way that they designed it. It does look a little like was it Guido? Is that his name? From Star Wars? Greedo? It's Greedo. I'm pretty sure it's Greedo. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's got the weird little mouth at the bottom. Han did shoot first. Once again, that's another example. People are like, oh, that's not how I remember. It's like, well, you saw a different movie. You actually saw a different movie. That is not... That is also a thing that happens if people see different versions of things. Wham, 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 wham. Nobody's wrong with me today. What a bummer. What a bummer. Goldtooth, welcome, welcome. I find it weird that this one's easier for me to draw than the gargoyle. I feel like gargoyle is more in my wheelhouse than bug, chameleon, space alien, but apparently not. Apparently not. I've learned something about myself today. Gonna give him a blaster. Plasma. Plasma. Are they remaking Earthworm Jim, or are they making a TV show movie out of it? I don't remember. You've never heard of Earthworm Jim? Oh my gosh. Earthworm Jim is great. No, this is a video game. It's a video game about an earthworm that finds a spacesuit that gives him superpowers. Well, not really. The spacesuit's just really good. Yes. Yeah, Earthworm Jim is great. I love Earthworm Jim. Psycrow is the main villain. He does look a little like a chicken. I think that was pretty much just a direct port, wasn't it? Didn't they just... No, I guess they would have had to rebuild it. You're right. Yeah, that was kind of the weird thing about the Nintendo 64 is like a whole bunch of games like Superman 64 basically we're still looking at 3D as a novelty, and they're like, yeah, we'll just cram some things in there and it's 3D, it'll be fine. It's like, you still have to make a game good, you know, right? Like that's you can't just rely on the engine to do it for you. I don't know what that means. You're just making up words. What? Mm-hmm. What is an Intellivision console? Is that like... Huh. It sounds like... To me, it sounds like app-based bullshittery, but that's fine. Now, let's not be hasty, you know. I think the McElroy boys are somehow affiliated with Polygon, or at least were at some point in time. I could be wrong about that. If I'm wrong about that, please let me know, and I'll trash talk Polygon from here to Sunday. But... You know what? No, I'll trash talk the McElroy boys. Maybe Travis will come here and show me what's what. Open invitation. Travis McElroy, you want to come draw with us on stream? Be pretty cool. Definitely not Griffin, though. For no apparent reason, just to cause contention. Definitely not Griffin. Only Travis. Maybe Griffin. I was talking about Earthworm Jim, yes. Before I started this bit where I'm trying to start a family feud with the McElroys. Yeah, that was a weird concept for the I think that's the thing that you can tell mostly about the Nintendo 64 is that they didn't really know how to handle 3D space, because they were like, well, we have the regular controller and then I don't know, dongle. it's like what? That's not a good way to do that. And it wasn't really, they didn't really put together that once you move into a 3D space, you need 2 axes of control. Yeah. So it's definitely, it's an interesting kind of phenomenon to look at, but yeah, a lot of games were, I think the game developers specifically just went, sweet new hardware 3D, sure, let's do that, without really putting something together. Like the Zelda, great. The controller was the limiting factor for the Zelda franchise on the 64. Like, yep. Also saw. You know, I think that's a fair assessment. I think those are good. Yeah, all the Zelda games. Banjo-Kazooie was actually not bad, but not like, they were pretty good. Yep, those were definitely worth it. But they were like, that was kind of the beauty of it. Like, the people that really figured out what they were doing made platformers, right? Like, that's what the 3D environment was for. Was like, how can we adapt platformers into something that's fun? And the few that did it really well. I mean, there were a lot of bad ones, but like the ones that did it well, like you could tell they were doing it. Like the Zelda and Banjo-Kazooie. Yeah, they did a good job. I'm trying to think of because the Mario Kart on the 64 was rough. Diddy Kong Racing did an okay job. I really like Diddy Kong Racing. I'm sad they haven't made more in the franchise, but I assume it's because they don't want to compete with Mario Kart, even though I think it's a better model. I was thinking about it, but I honestly never got to play Donkey Kong Country because I didn't have an expansion pack. So I have no critique for Donkey Kong Country because I just didn't get to play it. I was so sad. Yeah, I mean, that I think was an example of kind of the limitations of the software, right? Or the hardware. Because they're like, okay, so we know that we're going to release this thing and it's not going to have enough RAM. What do we do? Let's just leave a port so we can sell the RAM later when the price goes down. Yeah, they definitely kind of... It is an interesting thing. It was such a wild west for video games when the Nintendo 64 was coming out, because like the Super Nintendo had really tight controls and was like perfect for platforming, 2D platforming, and like so tight, so good, and then they just, I feel like them jumping to the 64, it gave just a little too much power, and there wasn't enough time for people to kind of adapt to it. So all these great game designers that were designing things for the Sega, and I think when did the Dreamcast come out? Did the Dreamcast come out before or after? That was PlayStation 1, so it was after. Clay Fighter was cool, yeah. Griffin did help with Polygon. Okay, that's what I thought. See, I disagree. I disagree. I do not hate Star Fox 64. Star Fox 64 is a fine game. That was another, I think, too ambitious of a thing to try to do. I think Star Fox kind of, it was too many things in my mind. They tried to lean way too hard into the 3D space, which makes perfect sense. Right? It's like, oh, it's a flying game. It's like, you don't have the controls. You don't have the controller to facilitate a flight sim. You just don't. And it's just like, garbage. Yeah. And I'm not a big fan of on-rail shooters. Like, I'm just not. I think the GameCube kind of did it better with, was it Star Fox Adventures? I played that game minimally, but I remember enjoying it. I thought it was fine. Oh yeah, that's funny. That is funny. Oh, I didn't know about that. I did not know about the unappropriateness of the internet, which is also not my fault, so that's on you guys. I don't know about that. But I would definitely. I think I'm pretty far past the. Why can't I draw this face? Let's start over here. Hold on. I forgot what we were talking about though. Gotcha. Yeah, it's Gotcha. Minotaur Cyware. That's right. It was not only in the ship. I think is the thing that I really liked about it, like because you could just run around and shoot stuff. Like that's pretty cool. It wasn't Star Fox. Yeah. Which once again, like I don't think it was bad. I just think it was limited by the controller. Same thing with so Superman 64 was bad because they didn't make a game. They're just like Superman, great, 3D, great. It's like this is garbage. This is hot garbage. Don't do this shit. And then even with like Majora's Mask, I love Majora's Mask. It's a great game, but there were parts where they were like, okay, let's make people swim through rings for a bottle. It's like, this is hot garbage because this is not how this is designed. That was all Superman 64 was one Zelda mini game. That whole game. Like that's the level of crappiness that was being put forth for games designed in that time. You never went to the man. I am not a completionist in most games, but when it comes to like Legend of Zelda, yeah, I fished for hours. I fished for hours to finish that game. Man. Yeah. The alien abduction scene in also completely unnecessary and strange. It just, they're like, oh, what would be great? Oh, what if we give them a target range? It's like, stop it. Just make more good content, please. Yep. And that, we probably should stop shitting on old games. Like, I'd rather go back to talking about liking games. We're moving in that direction. We're moving in that direction. Not that they don't deserve it, but we should change the topic. I don't know what else to talk about. I don't see why that was a problem. I mean, it was the second game. It was great. I think it was nice of them to actually get like a secondary use out of a lot of those assets, so where they didn't have to like rebuild things. And for the most part, I think Majora's Mask was pretty good. I think they reused a lot of stuff because they wanted to put it in the original Zelda game. Like some of the side quests and stuff I know were leftovers that they didn't get into the original game, which is kind of a bummer, but they had a lot of ambitions for Ocarina of Time. And I still think they did a good job. Why did I make this guy so... Yeah, we're going to make a yak. He's going to be a yak. Yakatar. I liked the water temple. I spent a lot of time in though. I don't like. It's one of the weaker temples for sure, but like I don't know. I love that like large puzzle idea. But like, it was really confusing. Yeah, it was really confusing partially because of once again the camera, like the trying to actually get your bearings in a place where the camera only spins slowly. It's just like like it's very vomity. But I think I like the water temple the most. I like the water temple the most. I like the water temple because of its like requirement for so many items, like in combination using the heavy boots and the hook shot. And at some points, like, yeah, I like that. I like having to like kind of switch between those to solve puzzles. I like that a lot. I think they did some cool stuff with it, but I totally get why people hate it. Like, no illusion that like people should love that. Which one's the water temple in Majora's Mask? Shoot. How does the water temple's Majora's Mask though go? Is that the one in the swamp? Or is there... Yeah. If you guys want to... Oh, yes. No, the water temple in Majora's Mask was a pain in the ass. Okay. It was a pain in the ass. If you guys want to check out our Majora's Mask playthrough, go check that out on Tandem Gamers. I don't want to put a link in the below. The Great Bay. Yeah. You rode the turtle, right? You rode the turtle out to it? I really liked Lord Jub in Ocarina of Time. I remember when I got that game for Christmas, and I was so excited because that was the first time I'd ever like gotten a real console like within its lifetime. I grew up playing like the Atari while the Nintendo was out. And so through happenstance we randomly got a Nintendo 64 and Legend of Zelda, and I was like, yeah. And I remember when I got to Lord Jub, I was like, I've got to be close to beating this game. And then when you grow up and become an adult, I was just like, oh my gosh, so much here. I love it. It was so good. So good. An Atari, what? And you don't know what an Atari is? The company Atari? Have you ever heard of Space Invaders? Okay. So that was a cabinet game, right? The home the Atari home system let you play those kind of arcade games at home on huge cartridges. Yeah. Let's see. River Raid, Pitfall, E.T. You know E.T. that got buried in the desert? You don't know that story? You don't know that story? Spielberg thought that E.T. was going to be such a good video game that they bought like 1 million copies of it. Nobody liked it because it was garbage. And because it was so expensive to store them, they just buried them in crates in the desert. Yeah. They were so strange. Like, why don't people like this game? It's like, well, you didn't. It's bad. That's why. It's a bad game. You guys designed a bad game, and you oversaturated the market with it. You could not give it away. Yeah. What? No, there were great games. There were great games for the Atari. I loved them. River Raid was a great game. It was just a top-down like shooter. Moon Patrol, super good game. This is my childhood, by the way. Now you guys are insulting, so. I'm looking at it. I'm trying to make the face look a little more yak-like. Get out. Just get out of the chat. Yeah, Pac-Man. You can play Pac-Man on the Atari. Pac-Man, this is Pac-Man. Frogger. Man, if you guys haven't played Pitfall, like, you're missing out. Pitfall's a great game. They remade it, I think, on, like, the PlayStation 1. And it's like, shame on you. Get out of here. Yeah. Sad day. It was basically like, what if Indiana Jones but video game? Also not Indiana Jones, but you have a whip. And it's like, it's like, wait a minute. This is Indiana Jones. I love it. Yep. Yeah, they went real weird with the PlayStation, because the original one was literally like, can you not get bitten by a crocodile? It's like, maybe. And then later they're like, also giant scorpions. You're like, oh shit, how am I going to beat that giant scorpion? What's my options here? I have jump. That's pretty much it. Centipede is great. Yep, snakes and rolling barrels. Yeah, yep. So the Game Boy Advance, I think, was a port of the original. Nope, it's not. I take it back. That is not the one I was thinking about. It was the #1 video game on the billboards for 64 weeks in a row. Hot damn. It did port over to Nintendo, so people might have played it on the regular Nintendo. But it was originally made in 1982. Dope. You said your first game was Nintendogs? Is that what you said? Oh, worst game. Gotcha. Nice. Pokemon is such a good first game for people. Like, oh, I love it. How was that? Oh my god, you're all so young. Well, let's see. I owned a Pong machine But it wasn't the original Pong machine. It was like a family station or something that could play Pong, and it could play pinball and Brick Break, basically, on the console. And then you could plug in controllers to it and play like 4 people. So that was really cool. That was a really cool thing. Beep, 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 beep. Just onboard sounds. Yeah. Yeah, he played as a compy. Yeah, right. Okay. Okay. I played the Lost World on, what was it? Freaking Super Nintendo? That was a tough game. That was a tough game to beat. I wonder how much of that they would. Oh, I played Empire Strikes Back on the Atari. Like, oh man, everything in the Atari was just chugging. It was like 2 or 3 frames a second. So good. Nostalgia. I also remember playing Empire Strikes Back on the Nintendo, though. That was a fun game too. I don't know if I ever beat the Hoth stage. Was there more than the Hoth stage on that game? Maybe that was just the whole thing. I never owned that game, so I'd have to rent it in like 3-day spurts. So I'm like, okay, I got this weekend to beat the game, and I wouldn't beat it. And then I'd rent the game again, and someone would have deleted my save file. I was like, dang it. I got to start over from the beginning. It's a bummer. Oh my gosh. Apparently there's way more to that game that I haven't played. I need to plug in my Nintendo and actually play some Nintendo games I haven't played in a while. Huh? Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up because I never got off Hoth. Mind you, this is when I was much younger, so I totally get why I probably didn't beat it. All right, let's do another one. Bugbear Druid. Yeah, sorry, it is the viewer suggestion, but it is almost 12, and I think I'm out of time. I have 2 more to do. I'm gonna try to bust these out real quick. I'm gonna do the Bugbear Druid real quick. See what I can do with that. Okay. I remember my friends had a PlayStation, so I went over there and played like Final Fantasy VII. But they didn't have a memory card, so we just played the first part of it like over and over and over again. I just drew a knoll, not a bugbear. Everybody had that issue. Like, no one's parents knew to buy a memory card. So, like, yeah. And then, like, when I finally got old enough to buy my own whatever, I bought a PlayStation 1 because was it PlayStation 2? Might have been a PlayStation 2. I bought a PlayStation and Parasite Eve. Final Fantasy 9 I got for Christmas. No, I got the PlayStation 2 for Christmas. Okay, anyways. So I played the first level of Parasite Eve because I didn't know to buy a memory card either. You think I would have learned, but I just didn't have enough money because I went there and I'm like, I want to buy this used PlayStation, please. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, God dang it. So I just bought Parasite Eve, but I didn't buy a memory card. I had to play the hell out of that. I tried to beat the game without saving, and I got pretty far. And then someone turned off my system, and I was just like, no. But that's how it goes. That's how it goes. Oh yeah, I mean, hell, the transition going from memory cards on the Xbox to the buying a hard drive for the Xbox 360. Like God, that was an issue. Do I need a memory card? It's like, well, do you have a hard drive? Like, why would I get a hard drive? So you don't use memory cards. It's like, but I have memory cards. It's like, then use the memory cards. You don't fucking need. Why is this a thing? Just get out of here. Go play the games. I did, but I didn't own it. I did play it. I didn't own it. I really like the Castlevania games like the old Castlevania games, and then I played one or two of them on the Game Boy Advance. Those are pretty good. Yeah, Mr. Sai, I am drawing PCs, but like I said, I am probably going to take off here in about 30 minutes, and I still have 2 more to draw, so I'm going to try to get these done. And then I'll probably take off for the day. Might stream on Twitch a little later. I'm going to try to get some token packages set up for the Patreon members. And I might try to start selling those on Foundry if they will accept them. So that's going to be fun. I'm going to try to design a few enemy tokens for like tabletop RPG things. I might print some out and make physical copies of them on like wooden tokens and mail those out to people too. That would be really fun. We'll see how this goes though. I did that a little while ago. I did some tests. They worked okay. I still have some of them right here, but yeah, I gotta keep working on it. One of these days, I'm gonna get a resin printer, and I'm just gonna start printing my own tokens and figures. But that is a much farther down the road, Rook, than I currently am. The bugbears. Mm-hmm. Oh, you mean like gauntlets? It's Gauntlet Legends is Forgotten Realms, isn't it? Or am I screwing that up? Can I get a confirmation on that? Is Gauntlet Legends Simon's Quest? Is Simon's Quest Forgotten Realms? There's a couple. So like there's Golden Axe, that's very much that's an arcade fighter though. And then there's Simon's Quest, Golden Axe, what do you think of? I love Golden Axe, super good. There's that. There's all of the. That's not arcadey. The next one thing I was thinking of the Dark Alliance. Those are Baldur's Gate, Dark Alliance, and then there was Dark Alliance 2. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of arcade cabinets nowadays basically run off cell phones, which is pretty awesome. You can, so if you want to get like a Raspberry Pi or ports for older games, and then just plug it into a cabinet controller and TV, like you can build a cabinet for less than it's like a few $100, but that's because you're buying like plywood and stuff. But that would be a fun project. Maybe that's something I'll do with someone one of these days is build a cabinet. That's what I'd really like to do, because I have a few games. Like the last game I made before I quit was Darwin's Demons, which is it's basically Space Invaders. It's Space Invaders with evolution components, which is really, really cool. And I really had a good time making that game. But now that it's done, we wanted to make a cabinet out of it, but we just never got the opportunity to. Maybe the guys at the university still built one, but That would be really fun. So if I do make another game, maybe having a cabinet will be a stretch goal for the the Kickstarter or whatever else. All right, I'm making a mime bugbear, by the way, so you can all deal with that. Oh, is it Druid? I'm sorry. I read Bugbear Bard. Sierra Bard. Okay. Yep. I screwed up those names. Okay, so we'll make it a Druid. We'll change this up. We'll get rid of the face paint. I am a Druid of the funnies. Fear my insensitivity. There's a licensed D&D arcade game. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I didn't play the D&D arcade game. I did like that face paint, though. We're going to stick with that. There's that is an interesting statement, saying you don't want to make a game because you don't know what it'll turn into. There's definitely what I like to call developmental bloat that a lot of game designers, especially like young game designers, run into, because they're like, here's my plan, and they're like, and then I'm going to add this and this and this and this and this and this and this, and I'm definitely not immune from that. I've run into it, but luckily I'm at a stage where I've seen it enough and I've worked with enough people that I can basically see it happening and be like, nope, this is a stretch goal now. This is something that we no longer develop. We don't talk about it until these other things work. And that's really what you have to do to make a good game, I think, because you really have to know your limitations and where your space and time can be spent. But Yep, EA is not a good example of things to do if you want to make a video game. Not great. Shadow over Mystara. Yeah, I don't think I played that. There was a really cool Nintendo game where you... I felt like you were some kind of magician. You may have been fighting an evil wizard or a jester, and you could turn into a cat or a robot. Some kind of lion monster. Yeah, I have no idea what that game was. I remember loving it to death, and I probably never play it again because I don't know what it is. That was on the regular Nintendo. I feel like it was some kind of like... I say jester because I felt like you were going to a circus in the first mission, and I had to rent games, right? So I bought a regular Nintendo from one of my friends for $10, and I secretly think... it either wasn't his Nintendo or he didn't care, and so he sold his family's Nintendo to me for $10, to the chagrin of his parents. But he had a Super Nintendo, and I wasn't going to turn up that offer. So I got that, and I had to rent a lot of games. I rented a lot of games from my local Albertsons for like 99 cents. That one was cool. But I have no idea what it was. No idea. I've looked for it many times. Many times. Man, I don't even know if there was a Best Buy in my town until I was like almost 20. That's funny. Yeah, you got me beat. Golden Axe is not Forgotten Realms. Okay, good to know. Good to know. That's impressive. I kind of assumed that you didn't have a lot of places around when you said, I woke up this morning and wanted to eat something, so I went to the garden. It's just like that. Not a lot of people can do that. Yeah. Yeah. When I grew up, the closest restaurant was 2 or 3 miles away, which, like, that's nothing, right? Like, that's totally fine. Yeah, I mean, that was my summer. My summers was like getting on my bike and riding 20 minutes somewhere to get like a milkshake because, hey, why not? Like, it cost a nickel, and I'm just gonna, that's what I'm gonna do for today. I'm gonna go ride my bike somewhere. Yep. But like now I think there's like 4 Subways near my parents' house. Just like within spitting distance. It's like, all right, great. Yep. I can think of some towns in Idaho like that. Yeah, I remember when I was growing up, and some of my cousins lived in McCall, which is 2 hours from Boise. It was a thing. It was like every other month or so they would drive down to get groceries, and it's just like, yay, let's go hang out. And it's like, did you guys seriously just drive 2 hours to get groceries? It's like, we needed to buy pants, and it's like, fair enough, I guess. So yeah, I lived in a weird part of the world, but definitely. Yeah. Go to the Tractor Supply store or the co-op. All right. We need to set up a save Corvus fund so we can get Corvus to move somewhere where there are pizza stores. Gotcha. All right, there's the druid. I'm going to go ahead and put this here. Everything's chicken in Kentucky. Yeah. You go to McDonald's, it's just chicken. You go to the pizza place, it's just chicken. It's just chicken on a. See, that's your problem. I grew up with so many cattle farmers that like, even though I would say my parents weren't like poor, but we were kind of poor. We were suburb poor. like of all the people I remember growing up with, my friends either lived on a farm and that made them like completely stable, or they were kind of well off and lived in a nice house. So I lived in a very small suburb house in a kind of crummy small town. But I remember like our freezer was always full of meat. Like that was something that I didn't have to worry about ever as a kid because we had so many family members that were cattle farmers. It was like, hey, one of our cows died. Does anybody want to like go with us to butcher half of this cow? And it was like, yeah, all right. So yeah, I grew up with like amazing steak and hamburger stuff, but I remember like I didn't have a lot of other things. Like the Atari I had came from a thrift store because my dad volunteered there, and so he would just like, look, games, and I was like, yay, games. So so yeah. So my parents were pretty good about that stuff. Everything I had growing up was either like a hand-me-down or or yeah, that kind of stuff. And they did a really good job though. Yeah, or it was just a few things older. Like I was wearing clothes a decade or two out of date. And like all of my bikes growing up until I was older were like just didn't fit me quite right, or I got made fun of a lot for riding girl bikes when I was a little kid because they were my sister's bikes. And it was like, whatever. I got a bike. Suck it. An hour drive for pizza. Yeah. That's no good. That happened to me once. I was out walking at night with my friends because that's what we did when we were hoodlums. And one of my friends brought a clown mask with him because he was going to try to scare us. But instead, he decided to scare some random lady on the road as we were walking by. And so her and her friends got in a truck and chased us for like 2 miles. And we were just running from these people. We're like, we're going to get our asses beat by these guys. Yeah. Yeah, the same friend that put the mask on, like, as soon as they screamed at us, I've never seen someone jump a fence so fast. And we were like, what the hell just happened? And then these people were in their trucks chasing us. And it's like, okay, we know whose fault this was. This is the only person that should have gotten in trouble. Always have a baseball bat. That's the rule. That's a good way to get shot. Yeah, especially where I was from. It was like, I'm really glad we were in. Yeah. What was? You guys see the Top Gear when the Top Gear went to, like, I don't know where they went. I want to say one of the Dakotas. It might have been Alabama. I don't remember. The Top Gear guys showed up and they started like writing really inappropriate things on their cars. And someone came up to them. They're like, "You guys are gonna get killed. You need to knock this shit off." And I was like, "Oh, whoa. South Carolina." Yeah. It was definitely a gay joke, and it was like, this is dangerous. You guys should not be making these jokes around here. And it's like, that sucks. I don't want to live in a place like that. It's terrifying. Oh no. I'm a coming for you. That's mean. That's mean. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, that's the thing about, like, people. I really don't like prank videos, and I don't like people that are just trolling to be trolls. That being said, like, I was young and stupid and an asshole at one point in my life, so like, I get it. I get the young kid allure to just like, hey, this would be really funny, and it's like, in retrospect, that wasn't that funny. But like, yeah, anytime someone gets like, I prefer prank fail videos to prank videos because I like watching people who are deliberately being assholes just get beat down. It's like I shouldn't enjoy this, but I feel it. Yeah. No, I get it. I totally get it. I totally get it. Sounded like a great idea. Yeah. Sounded like a great idea. Okay, how do I make this guy a pirate? What do you think? I don't want to give him a hat. He's a rat folk, and I don't want to give him a hat. I could give him a hat. Let's just give him a hat. Why not? I feel like that's my go-to. It's a pirate. Is just giving him a hat. Just give him a huge ass hat. I should give him give him just 2 eye patches. Just 2 eye patches. Yeah, I'm drawing a rat folk. Rat folk! Oh, I think that was the second video I ever made. That might not be true. Yeah, the rat folk. My friend Toby, who was my DM for a long time, had a really cool rat folk combo, and I think that's what I based the video off of. Because he's like, I want to be a mage and a rogue, and I'm like, okay. And he's like, and I'm gonna be 2 rat folks, and they're gonna just always be in the same square. And I was like, all right, let's try that. Let's see what happens. It was fun. It was really fun. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That for Pathfinder, that's how they're built. They're built more like Skaven than they are. In D&D now, they're basically just goblins that are rats, which is like, that's not interesting at all. But that could be why. I'm betting the stuff I looked up was just an easy like goblin port. But yeah, Pathfinder rat folk are really good. Maybe you know what? I'm gonna put the hat. I'm gonna give him an ear hole in the hat. Yeah, and that's I think what a lot of people have done is they've just, you can either just make it up as you go, or you can just like use a different thing. Like you can do, you can use the halfling base, you can use the goblin, or you can use a gnome and just kind of fiddle with it. But I like the idea that the rat folk, especially from Pathfinder, were specialized in being in 2 squares. Like you could share a space with someone who was other rat folk, and then there were feats to like, you consider that person a rat folk, so you can share a space with them. Which in my mind is just like, hey, I'm gonna stand right here, and you're just like, what are you doing? Just like, hey, how's it going? You're my buddy. It's like, okay, great. Yeah, just sharing way too little of space. But I like it. I like it a lot. I think they're great. I think rat folk are fun. He also had another rat folk character that was a drug dealer. Like that was his whole like. So what's his character? He's like, what's a drug dealer? I'm like, well, what class is he? He's like, oh, I guess. It's like that's all he wanted to do was just run around and make drugs and try to sell them. So anytime we got to a town, he's just like, I'm gonna go try to sell drugs right now. It's like, all right, that's your prerogative. Everyone else, what are you doing? And they're like, I guess we'll just wait and see if he gets arrested, and then we'll decide what to do. And I was like, all right. That was not a good campaign. I mean, like everybody in that campaign was borderline like lawful evil, but they somehow banded together as like, yeah, we're gonna see how this goes. How can we become the most powerful things in the universe? Oh yeah, no, evil campaigns are totally feasible. Totally feasible. And I've run many of them, and I'm still running one. Yeah, I think a lot of times people confuse evil campaigns for asshole players. It's like, I don't understand. Go ahead. Oh, no, I was. You can go ahead. I didn't have anything. What the hell? See, that's not evil. That's just people being stupid. Yep. We yeah, that's just simply that's just chaos, right? Like that's disregarding the want for a yeah. And I'm highly opposed to that. And the few times I've played with people that have done that, it's like I was like, oh, I want to run. Oh, I'm sorry. How's that? Is that better? Is it still buggy? I was talking into the table. Oh, yeah, no, I am losing frames here, so it might be about time to call it quits. The very first time we ever played with Lars, Kevin the Necromancer was not into it. He's like, I don't really want to, because we were playing Pathfinder. We were playing tons of Pathfinder, and he's like, I don't really feel like making a new character, but whatever. And we're like, yeah, just try it. Let's just try to hang out with Lars. And he's like, all right, fine. And so he made an archer, and then he just played it, just like, oh, I shoot that guy in the face. And we're like, okay, great. And after we played it, he basically was just trying to get his character killed because he didn't care. But then after we played it and we talked about it, he's like, I didn't realize that me being that kind of like just stupid and random was gonna not be fun for everybody. And it was like, yeah, like we legitimately didn't enjoy that because we couldn't role play, we couldn't choose fights, we couldn't work as a team because you were just doing whatever random shit you thought was funny at the time. That in itself was funny. There were funny moments to it. But as a game, it was like, I would prefer that you just not play and just hang out with us if you don't want to play the character. And he has done that. He's like, yeah, okay, that's totally fair. And I think the problem is when you run into those kind of moments is a lot of people aren't comfortable enough to talk to their players, their other members. Whereas like with Kevin the Necromancer and Lars, like we've known each other forever. So it's just like, hey man, you're being a complete asshole. Stop it. And they're like, oh, okay. Like it's nothing personal. It's just like, if you aren't going to have fun playing the character, it's okay to not play. And because like I'm totally cool with Kevin just hanging out with us while we play D&D if he doesn't want to play D&D, right? He later made a new character, and now we're still all playing D&D together. But he just, at the time, he wasn't ready to play with us, and that's totally fine. You can definitely not be ready for a campaign, or like, hey, can I join in a few sessions, or I can only play every now and again, so can my character be a little more fluid and just join whenever I have time. And yeah, all those things are possible. And the evil campaigns, same thing. Like if you have a character that's just being lawful stupid, or like that's not fun unless everybody's in on the joke. And there are times when, like what you were saying, is shit went sideways, you killed somebody, and then your whole party decided, well, this is our life now, and now we're pirates. That's something I've done, and that's been really fun. That's a good way to shift to an evil campaign. But there are characters that have to say, like, I don't want to do this, right? They can absolutely be like, my character wouldn't do this, they're out. And it's like, cool, okay, that's fine. Like, you can either re-roll a new character, or we just start a new campaign with you another time. I think the scariest thing about evil campaigns is people will make a character that doesn't fit it, get invested in that character, and be really upset because like, I'm getting kicked out of the game because we're all evil now. And it's like, your character doesn't fit this campaign anymore. I'm sorry. It's the same thing as if your character had died. If they just like their story path diverges too greatly, but it doesn't mean you have to stop playing. It doesn't mean you have to stop hanging out, right? That's the disconnect. Is not all characters match the story. Not all players need to be in all campaigns. Yeah. Peace out. Yep. We did feed an old lady to a dragon once. That was probably the most evil thing we've done as a party, but we did it as a group because the dragon was like I'm weak, and the DM for us didn't want us to have we were trying to befriend this dragon. We're like, dragon, what can we do to make you hang out with us? And the dragon's like, fuck you guys. And we're like, no, be cool. And so we went and got this old lady healer, and she's like, I can heal the dragon, but it'll take all these things. And we're like, yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to derail the campaign to go save this dragon. And our DM was like, the dragon wants to eat her. That's what the dragon wants. And we're like, we've changed our minds. We're going to feed you to the dragon. And he's like, what? And he's like, if you do this, all of you are evil. And we're like, yep. We've decided. So we fed the dragon. The dragon's like, okay, cool. I guess I'll help you guys in the future somehow. We're like, yay. And then that was the same campaign where Orson Barrington threw a barrel at a guy because the guy walked up to him and saw through his disguise. And he's like, holy shit, you're a bear. And I was like, no, I'm not. And he's like, call the guards. This man is not the real captain of this ship. And I'm like, I throw a barrel at him non-lethally. And my DM was like, How are you throwing a barrel non-lethally? I'm like, I don't know, but as a monk, it says I can choose to do lethal or non-lethal damage. And he's like, okay, I'll do minimum damage with the barrel. Yeah, the minimum damage on the barrel just killed the guy. And I was like, fuck it, we're out of here. And that's when we became dragon pirates. And that's where the dragon pirates came from, because we basically just burned the dock down and ran and derailed the campaign so hard that our DM was like, I can't DM this anymore. Like, you guys have gone so far off the rails. I don't know what to do. And we're like, that's great. And that's how we retired Orson Barrington, was that they became dragon pirates and sailed into space. Yeah, it's super funny. I had a feat that said I could throw anything as a proficient weapon, and I'm a bear. I think I can throw a barrel. It might have been a barrel full of fish or rocks. I don't know. But as a monk, it says any of the weapons you're proficient with, you can choose to do lethal or non-lethal damage with. I non-lethally threw a barrel at a guy with 2 hit points and did 5 damage. He died instantly. He just straight up died. And I was like, shit, bail. No, massive damage. It did double his maximum health in damage. Yeah. So with non-lethal damage, usually once your non-lethal damage equal your current hit points, you're unconscious, but you can still do damage to that person, and once they reach their Constitution score, they die. So the non-lethal damage is just a point to passing out. It still counts as damage. Yeah, and that goes back into the whole argument of, like, when you hit somebody with a sword, are you cutting into them, or are you just lowering their hit points? Are hit points equating to damage? And that's a whole can of worms. I'll probably do a whole video on that one of these days, but it was supposed to knock him out. Yeah, you didn't attack him twice. Yeah, there's especially with D&D having, I think that's one of the reasons they switched over to the like, once you reach 0 or negative, you just go to death saves. Because in Pathfinder, there were many, many times when someone would be at, let's say you have 100 hit points. You take 20 hit points of damage, 20 hit points of damage. All of a sudden, you have 1 hit point left, and you take 20 hit points of damage, but you only have a con score of 10. You just die. You go from 1 hit point to instantly dead because you go into the negative 20 points, which is below your con score, and you die from it. Yeah, the massive damage rule. If you take more than your current health, your maximum health, if you take more than your maximum health in damage in 1 hit, you have to roll a save for death. And most people cannot make that save because the save for death is equal to the damage. So it's like, you want me to roll a con save for how much? 150? Okay, let me see what happens. It's like, that's impossible. How am I supposed to roll a 45? Yeah. So, and there's a lot of feats that help you not do that, and it's super complicated, and D&D is just like, fuck negative hit points. We're getting rid of that. So, yep. And the other thing we used to do with Pathfinder was we would... I love using hero points. I think hero points are great. They're like mini cheat spells that players can use. But what we always did is if you died, you automatically lost 2 of your hero points, and the DM got to decide how you didn't die. So for one of my things with Doc, which was my first cleric with the mask, I got attacked, and like a sneak attack happened from I think it was a skin renderer. That sounds right. Basically, I had failed the saves and the grapple, and I was going to get all my skin flayed off to death. But I'm like, nope, hero points. Don't want to die here. Not like this. And so the DM was like, okay, cool. So I'm gonna make the save, but you still take 80 damage worth of worth of getting flayed, and just your left arm gets flayed. So like you now have no skin on your left arm, and I was like, ah, and that did like strength damage, and there's rules for that kind of thing. But that character was forever scarred from it, and I think that's a great way to do it. It's like instead of death, you lose these points, and your character has a new thing to it, and that's kind of how I've always taken deaths happening. Even if you use a spell to like revive somebody, it still has to have some ramifications that your character died. And it doesn't always have to be bad. It's not like, oh, you lose your legs. It's like, it can just be, it can be a story point. It can be a temporary stat. Like with the arm thing, it's like, oh, okay, all of your strength and constitution scores are at -2 until you can somehow either repair it or heal it. And eventually I got like regeneration. And so it was like, cool, you regenerate it. You no longer have those stat elements, and your arm is just going to be like weirdly scarred forever. And it was like, cool, that's part of the character now. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good way to do it, yeah. I like that. It is 12:15 here. I'm going to go do some exercises, get some lunch, run some errands. I'll be back around later this afternoon on the Discord, as well as probably on Twitch for a little bit. I'm going to try to build a whole bunch of cool token packages. If you use virtual tabletops, you can, I'll figure out how to do that. Maybe I'll give away one of the free ones on Patreon so people can try it out and see what they like and don't like about it. Those will probably all be free for the Patreon members, again, if you want to check that out. There is a little bit of copy here for Describe. If you haven't checked out Describe, this is an ad, by the way. Describe is basically making professional box text for DMs and new adventurers, so you can kind of learn how to describe things in a poetic way. There's a link down below if you want to check that out. You can definitely use that link to support the channel, as well as there's a coupon code, Rookzer0, at checkout if you do want to order anything through Describe to get 10% off. So check that out. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for giving me some cool ideas to draw with. And we'll catch you next week. I think we are going to go with, yeah, robot limbs. That's a great idea. I'm going to try to keep doing this on YouTube every Wednesday, so if that's just where we get to hang out, cool. I will leave this one up. Usually I've been unlisting them. There is a playlist for all the previous live streams that are not on Twitch. If you want to check that out, that does exist. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. Stay happy, stay healthy, keep your dice on the table, and we'll catch you next time. Bye, everybody.